Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Checking in on the cryptocurrency space. So we're looking at Bitcoin, which is still pulling back and about to test $8,000 support. Right now, the bulls are trying to do everything they can to form a higher low on this daily time frame compared to 7,700. And then we'll look back up to 8,535 if we can hold. But we have a short-term support test going on right now. And what is the indication that our daily higher low has been set? It's a 4-hour trend change. Right now, the 4-hour trend is clearly bearish with lower highs and lower lows continuing. And as we test this 8,000 support, the bulls really want to hold that level and then break 82.33, which would change the 4-hour trend and give us a daily higher low. However, if we break 8,000 right now, the 4-hour downtrend continues. We get closer towards support. At that point, we only have $300 to work with of space. Resistance is currently $500 away. So pretty much this morning, bulls need to make a stand for this daily higher low to try and form. And we'll check right back in before the end of this video to see if Bitcoin is still holding this $8,000 level. Ethereum is also trying to form a daily higher low. Right now, anything above 164.34 keeps that little daily higher low pattern intact. Have to hold that level and break 185.89 in order to see continuation of this little uptrend on the daily time frame since the bounce has been playing out. But same thing, the 4-hour time frame. Need to hold 169.59 here and then break resistance getting over 179.69. So that's our 4-hour resistance right now. Ethereum is holding up better than Bitcoin, and I'm interested in Ethereum more than Bitcoin because of its ETH BTC chart. This is still a very healthy chart. As long as the bulls can hold this daily exponential support, the higher lows here will remain intact. The most recent higher low is 0.021, and the bulls have to break 0.022 and 223. These two levels breaking is obviously a clear break with a lack of immediate resistance nearby. So best case scenario for the Ethereum bulls is for Bitcoin to hold 8,000, form a daily higher low, change its 4-hour trend, and then see this ETH BTC pairing chart break out as well, which would mean that Ethereum is on its way back to test its recent high and potentially going further than that. So need to see a bull break on both the Bitcoin pairing and the USD pairing for Ethereum. Litecoin, still very weak. The daily time frame holding up just sideways. And we have the first support of 53.62. That level needs to hold. If it does, then bulls can keep this barely clinging on support. And if we just look at maybe the 3-day time frame, again, it's a bear flag at this point, and the bulls are doing nothing to prove to us that it is not a bear flag. I would have to see the bulls get over 57.75, the top of this bounce, and get over the daily exponential resistances if it's not going to be a bear flag. And right now, it's not looking good for those Litecoin bulls with where we stand. They haven't really done much. The LTC BTC chart on the daily time frame, not a ton of clarity, little bit of upside the past 2 days, but if we look at it on the weekly time frame, bulls aren't really doing a whole lot. We would have to see pretty much the move back up towards the recent high. The weekly trend change is possible. We have our low, high of the bounce, higher low, but we have to break that high of 78.75, and that is a long way away with where we currently stand. XRP USD, also still fading, but also still in a daily little uptrend. So our last higher low is now 242. Bulls need to hold this level to keep these little higher lows. If we lose that, then we're looking at the low again for all names. Lose the little daily higher lows. Some names have more space than others, but then we're looking back at the lows. So bulls need to hold 242 and see a bull break of 263 to keep this move going. And looking at it on the weekly time frame, most names are going to be ending this week, which is ending tomorrow. It's Saturday, 9:30 a.m. But we're going to be looking at weekly inside bars forming at the end of this week. Binance, also very weak, same as Litecoin. Look at the 3-day time frame. It's a bear flag. Bulls aren't proving anything. We would have to get over 1628 and see a move over the exponential resistances in order to not be a bear flag. EOS, little higher low here is 281. That's the must hold level for the bulls to keep some control. Resistance is 312 and need to hold support and break resistance to keep this move going. The daily exponential resistance is coming into play now with multiple rejections from that level. We look at Ethereum on the daily. It has been rejecting from that exponential resistance for 4 or 5 days in a row. And we look at Bitcoin and we have yet to touch it, but it is looming overhead. So no bounces have gotten over their daily exponential resistances, and that's always one of the first targets we look at on daily oversold bounces. And last, we got Link USD. I'm interested in Link USD, and it is on Coinbase, so I might trade this break if we get it, where we have our high, cup, inability to break resistance, so 208 resistance, we got up to 205, and now this is trying to form the psychology of a cup and handle pattern. Left side of resistance, consolidation, inability to break the left side of resistance, creating the right side of a cup, and then a bull flag is trying to form. We would have to hold the daily exponential support here to keep it a bull flag and a handle, and then we would have to, of course, break over 208 and get some clarity to the upside, or some movement to the upside where there's not a ton of resistance immediately nearby. So I actually have a bit of a stop buy in on Link, and I will be triggered into a much smaller position than I would be on Bitcoin or Ethereum if that break does occur. Reason being, it is less liquid. It's more thinly traded. So if I'm going to account for the bigger percentage swing that we get in both directions on a lower cap coin, I'm going to adjust the dollar volume that I'm using for my position size to match that accordingly. So we'll see if the bulls, looking at on the 4-hour time frame, we just need a 4-hour trend change just like everybody else. There's our low, there's our low, there's our lower high. Have to hold 187 and break 201 to see the 4-hour trend change and try and confirm a breakout. So Bitcoin's still holding 8,000 back against the wall right now. Hourly RSI would be oversold if we did break 8,000 here. And I do have some bids in on ETH, and my game plan for today is scaling a little bit in the low 170s, put a stop under 169.59, and if that level breaks, then the odds of a daily higher low and continuing the daily bounce would decrease a good bit. So it's a very small risk trade. It's a more aggressive entry, looking for that daily higher low rather than just waiting for clarity on the daily time frame, as we have been in a tight daily range for the past 5 or 10 days or so. But I haven't made a crypto trade in a while, and this is one where it's very low risk. So I'm fine risking maybe $2. If I get a couple positions filled, I'll end up risking about $2 or $2.50, which is about 1.5%. So that is just fine by me. We'll see if we end up getting a save by the bulls to hold support and change their 4-hour trends, and we will check back in when we get some more clarity on this 4-hour and daily higher low attempt. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Do good things out there. Make sure you have some liquid Benadryl in your house. I just had a reminder that I need to get some from getting stung by a bunch of bees. I've never really had a big reaction, but almost passed out, almost had to call 911, had all the swelling and tight chest and all that stuff. So really a good idea to just have it on hand. And I would have been in a much better spot if that were the case. But you better believe I've got a bottle now and just dealing with a little bit of a bee sting hangover today. So the end of video content for the next week or so is going to be from my recent trip up to New England. And it's going to start off here in New Hampshire. It's really cool to go back to places that I grew up going to. My dad used to take us camping back when I was 6 years old. So 25 years ago, going back to the same places. And that's really where my love for nature was sparked as a little kid, and being, blown away by wonderment of huge rocks and these cool boardwalks going through caves and things, which you'll see. But that was a whole bunch of nostalgia this past week, and was able to meet up with a bunch of friends that I went through grade school with that I still keep in touch with, and some families. So all good fun stuff. The leaves were just starting to change, missed it probably by about a week or two, but that let us have a little bit of solitude, because you better believe that area gets flooded with leaf tourists right now, pretty much through October. And this one area that we went at about 9 or 10 in the morning, and we were the only people there. So definitely worth the payoff to not have the full-blown foliage, but to experience it and be able to do so with a little bit of solitude.